in conjunction with the village president, is we've got to manage the workload a bit for the next few months to make sure we leave enough time for you to deal with those very important issues. And so I'll be working with the management team to try to get through the stuff that's critical, certainly bid approvals, projects that are scheduled for this season we've got to deal with. Some of these other things are nowhere near as important as your selection of a manager, which is always the number one most important decision any board and any corporation ever makes, is who they're going to hire as their chief administrative or chief operating officer, whether you're in a not-for-profit, government, or private sector. So that needs to have the time that you need to get it done, get it done right. And then, of course, strategic planning and the budget is your big annual decision-making process, because that sets up your work plan, your financial plan for the whole following year, your staffing plan.
Okay. Yes.
I just want to comment, that's true of every year. So we do the same, besides the village
Yes,
manager. So what's been
The
happening
budget is every year.
Yeah, and so we are small we are a small village, as you see coming in and taking over in the interim. I just fear that if we don't, frankly, if we don't start at least addressing one or two of the policy developments that the trustees like to see, meaning whether it be historic preservation or changing parking or whatever may be a bigger issue, if we just say that we don't, we can't, I feel like we need to at least do one or two big, initiatives a year to get through them.
Yeah, I think,
And I don't know what they are, and I'm not suggesting
Yeah,
that I'm
I don't-
ranking them. I just
I
feel
don't mean to
like,
suggest that we don't do any of this stuff, and that's why I'm working on the list. And I saw the size of it when I got here. One of the goals I set for myself, and I did talk to the village president about it, was to try to get that into some kind of manageable form
because I think
and
it's
get
just
it
kind of,
prioritized so we can keep moving on it.
right, it's kind of
Don't want to just push it
and that's
back.
why it keeps kind of growing, and I get why, because we don't have, we are small. But at some point, we need to address that, and like Trustee Maher said, we do need to prioritize it, even if we want one a year.
Yeah. Well, and keep that moving forward. And again, your critical decision this summer is to hire the right person for that manager's job. You get the right person at your administrative leadership, it makes the world of difference. And if you get the wrong candidate, it's a world of you-know-what. So you want to be really careful and very thorough. And I would urge you, because I'm the interim guy, I would urge you all to try to set aside whatever animosities or ideological differences you have and really focus on working together. This might be a great opportunity for the board to develop a little better working relationship with more of a team approach, because this village manager decision is going to affect all of you in the community for some years into the future. This might be a great opportunity for the board to come a little closer together, and then hopefully it'll carry over into other activities as you move forward. We'll do everything we can to assist the board this summer. That's why I'm here, and anything you need, we'll try. It's one of the reasons I'm on this priorities list. I really want to try to get some structure and get started on it.
Okay, thank you. Items for future consideration.
Gee, after that, I'm afraid it's in.
This actually, nice segue, because I've talked about this before during either board development, and Trustee Silvick has mentioned this as well. And our meetings, it's 11:45, and I think that we all should, and myself included, find a way that we can make these meetings a little bit more manageable. Perhaps we don't repeat our thoughts, or, Baher is like the gold standard. Can I take this? He comes with his notes, his homework, his checks, things done, and I'm as guilty as the next person, but there's ways that I know that I can improve upon, saving time. We had a meeting until 1 o'clock 2 meetings ago, almost. It was like 10 minutes shy of 1 a.m. We had a room full of people who were waiting to speak here, and for non-agenda items, and that portion of the itinerary didn't even come till I don't remember exactly, but somewhere between 10 and 11 at night. And it's not just, so it's not fair, I think, to the people in the village that come to speak. the residents, but also for our staff members. I'd rather have Tyler and you guys sleeping and, doing a lot of the real work, and not say this is the real work, but we don't need to be here, we don't need Leanne here until 11 or 12 o'clock at night. And I think a lot of our questions that we can have, all of us, we can ask staff ahead of time, get a lot of answers, and of course there's validity to discussing things, with each other here. We can still do that, but I think we should all, I would like to see, how about this, I will pledge to try to be more succinct.
Do you have an item for future agenda, or?
Yeah, this is board development, or hey, you guys, let's teamwork it up together and try to make the meetings a
I
little
might
bit
mention,
more
has
manageable.
anybody seen that article in the latest municipality about boards?
I
It
actually.
is just,
Yeah, we could-
it is something everybody should do.
Right.
Because it's something we don't do.
But isn't Tyler working on that with the village manager of maybe, because we repeat things from committee, like we have the same discussions in both areas, I mean, that would condense it like 3 hours.
I'm talking about at the board level, there are sometimes people beat the dead horse over and over again.
Well, I guess
I
that's
have I have an item for future agenda, and I should have said in trustee reports, I did attend the school board meeting about the Lakeville tennis courts, and the school board was able to reduce the cost estimate to find $20,000 to fund the new cost. The two school board members did ask, where's the village board on this? And I think there was a lot of circumstances that kind of made us miss the opportunity to formally communicate. And despite all these things we're talking about that we have to do and schedule, I would like to suggest that we schedule quarterly meetings, board meetings, because, for example, I could think of two. One is the Community Relations Council that we're talking about doing, and the school's a really important part of that. And another is overall, we're taxing the same people. The schools are talking about a facilities referendum, we're just going to increase taxes. We have a lot of facility needs. I think it would be worth considering the overall tax burden and talking in conjunction about future facility needs for the village as a whole. So I would like to suggest that we contact the school board and try to look at our calendars and figure out a quarterly, regular meeting with the school board so that we don't have these missed connections on issues that are important.
Just for the record, we got thrown under the bus a bit by the school district staff. Village president's aware that I met twice with village staff, with school district staff, the superintendent, and with his team of people regarding the issue of the tennis court. Yeah, and they talked about the tennis courts, and at the second meeting, they wanted to know where the village's position is, and I said, well, we already put in $50,000 for your facilities on your site, but if we need to, I will take that back to the village board and ask them if they would approve more money. And I had no idea or knowledge of what your position might be on it, but I did ask them. I said, can you take it to the school board first and ask them, because it's a lot easier. They got a much bigger, economy of scale than we do, to come up with $20,000. You don't have to amend the intergovernmental agreement. We've got to amend our budget to shift money from who knows where to another account, and it would just be a lot easier for them to do it. And he said, we're going to talk about it Wednesday night. He said, I'll call and let you know. So I got a voicemail the next day. He said, don't worry, we're all good. The school board came up with 20 grand. And then I learned today that they kind of threw us under the bus, said we reject it. We're just.
I would, I wouldn't go that far, but I'll just say that two school board members were like, well, where's the village board? Why isn't the village board kicking in? And I was there in the audience, people turned to look at me, and I'm like, it never came to the village board, and I'm not blaming Larry because it was just misconnections.
You need to meet with your school board. Quarterly is an awful lot. I don't know that you can do that on top of their workload and their workload. Semi-annually is pretty common, and you probably can do that, and certainly you have so much in common. One of the things that's got to be worked out are the lifeguards on the beach, and you need to do that, and in part you need to do that at policy level to get some direction down to their staff to say, hey, you got to do this. We want, those are our kids down there too. All right, those are our students, those are our to speaking to school board members, you know, we've got to be able to take care of that. They have the recreation department, they've got the trained certified staff to hire certified and supervise these lifeguards. They need to be doing that. The village doesn't have that capacity. We just don't have it. So you've got to work that out with them at a policy level, get some direction down there, you know, get started early. Let's get the ads out, let's raise the salary if we need to, but let's get the staff hired. The village, of course, will cover all the cost, and you should offer to cover a reasonable amount of overhead for the school district as well, to help them cover some of the management costs for hiring and supervising these people, and make sure we get that done for next year.
Okay, anything else for future items? Take a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
In favor?
Aye.